Namaskar. My name is Pranavi Raina. I'm 10 years old and I live in Warren, New Jersey.
Namaskar. My name is Ritika Bamzai. I'm 11 years old and I live in Livingston, New Jersey.
Through this video, we would like to share the life and works of Abhinavagupta of Kashmir.
We will present this video as a dialogue between Abhinavagupta and a seeker.
It is so fascinating to read about Abhinavagupta, who was one of India's greatest philosophers, mystics, and aestheticians. He was also a great musician, poet, dramatist, and logician. I wish I could be in his presence. Finally, I meet you, the great Pandit of Kashmir, who lived in Kashmir in the 10th century AD. Oh, Yogini Bhu, your birth was a cosmic event, when your mother Vimlakala and your father Narsimhagupta engaged in a Kaula ritual and gave birth to an extraordinary child, destined to be enlightened.
Yes, my birth was a fusion of Shiva and Shakti, a reincarnation of Bhairava. My ancestor Atrigupta came to Kashmir and served under the great king Lalitaditya. My mother left this world when I was 2 years old. My father, Narsimhagupta, was my first guru who taught me Sanskrit, grammar, logic, and literature. My brother Manorat and my younger sister Amba were one of my first disciples.
Abhinava, the realized one, I've always been astonished with how you acquired knowledge in Shaivism, Buddhism, Vaishnavism, Tantra, and aesthetics by the time you were in your mid-30s. I wish I was born during this time in Kashmir, when so many different philosophies flourished, when dharma was in everything we did, when music, drama, and art were part of one's life, when there were so many learned gurus from whom we could learn. You yourself had 19 gurus who guided you in the mastery of a variety of subjects.
Yes, I learned Kashmir Trika and Pratyabhigna from Lakshmana Gupta. I learned Krama system from Bhuti Raja. I learned Spanda system from Bhaskara. And I learned aesthetics and philosophy of language from Bhatta Tota. I was a bee, going from flower to flower, collecting the nectar from each of these branches of the tradition in order to make them all into the sweetest honey. And then I met Shambho Nata, who initiated me in the Kaula tradition to reach the highest level of my spiritual realization. He was like the moon appearing over the ocean of Trika knowledge. Without him, I would have never been awakened.
Oh, the awakened one, Abhinavagupta. As your name suggests, you were a guru of ever new secrets. Your more than 40 works in Tantra, philosophy, Hines, and aesthetics revealed the great secrets of the nature of existence. You were the foremost exponent of the school of Kashmir Shaivism in India. You challenged earlier traditions of knowledge, redefined certain concepts, and brought in your fresh perspective that still remains at the core of India's intellectual history. Your work on Tantaloka was comprehensive in scope, covering all tantric practices prevalent in India at the time. What was your vision?
My vision was to create Shiva Tantra as a unified system, powerful in its cohesion, complex yet clear in interrelations between various tantric practices. To accomplish the synthesis, I also wanted to explain apparent contradictions amongst the scriptures, which were originally addressed to different audiences in time.
I understand why you wrote Tantra Loka, but then why write Tantasara?
I wanted to write the essence of the Tantras in Tantrasara, mostly in prose, with the key verses at the end of each chapter from Tantra Loka. This was for the benefit of those who were not as well versed in the complexities of Indian philosophy.
So you summarized Tantra Loka in Tantrasara and also wrote additional fresh content in it? I did find the content in Tantrasara less complex but still resonating with the truth. It is truly a treasure for people who find Tantra Loka difficult.
I also wrote Tantra Chaya, the shortest version about Tantra, by taking just the summary verses of the Tantra Sara, giving a short commentary on each. My other works on Tantra include Paramarata Sara, the essence of Trika principles, and commentary on Malaniva Jaya Tantra.
Your praise of deities such as Bhairava is reflected through your hymns. On one hand, your hymns on Paratrishka, Krama, Rahasya, and others were simple and yet taught us basic principles of Shaiva doctrine. And on the other hand, your works on philosophy were profound and impactful. Tell me more.
Through my commentary on Bhagavad Gita, I wanted to provide the traditional interpretation of Gita from the Shaiva point of view. My commentary on Ishvara Pratyabhijna is a reflection on the recognition of the Lord. Pratibha, the intuitive insight, is the very principle that makes possible the recognition of one's own true self that one seeks.
I understand. As a lover of aesthetics, I find your work on Pratibha and Lochana and Abhinav Bharati very fascinating and different from Tantra, philosophy, and hymns.
For me, the spiritual path and the divine reality are the same. In my mind, this cosmos is God's artistic creation, artistic expression, be it poetry, drama, dance, music, painting, or any other artistic medium, is just as capable of bringing about spiritual realization as yogic practice. For me, the artist is yogin and the yogin is an artist. The ultimate artistic expression is life itself, which presents the opportunity for the attainment of spiritual realization.
In Natya Shastra, you illumine and interpret the text of the Bharata at many levels: conceptual, structural, and technical. As you have stated, the performance arts in Natya Shastra temporarily suspends us from the ordinary world and transfers us into another parallel reality full of wonder. This has been depicted by Bharata in the form of rasas. Bharata wrote about 8 rasas. 4 primary rasas are Shringar or romance, Rudra or anger, Veera or heroism, Bibhatsa or disgust. And 4 additional rasas that depend on the primary rasas are Hasya or laughter, Karuna or compassion, Adbhuta or wonder, Bhayanika or horror. But you didn't agree with him completely, did you?
I did agree with all 8 rasas identified by Bharata, but I do think they are independent of each other, corresponding to fundamental human feelings such as delight, laughter, sorrow, anger, energy, fear, disgust, heroism, and astonishment. I also expanded the scope and content of the rasa spectrum by adding the 9th rasa, and thus establishing the Shanta rasa, the rasa of tranquility and peace.
Since your work on rasas in Abhinav Bharati The Shant Rasa is considered the Rasa of Rasas. Tell me more about the significance of the Shant Rasa in your life.
Shanta Rasa, the undisturbed tranquility, is our basic and permanent state. It is from Shant all the other rasas emanate, and it is into Shant that they all resolve back. I was in the state of Shanta Rasa, the state of silence, for the last few years of my life before I left my body. On that day, I decided to enter the bed of cave along with 1200 of my disciples and became one with Parasambit, the pure consciousness, as I chanted the hymn of Bhairava.
O Bhairav Sarupa, your life journey has been mystical yet inspiring. This conversation has been a fulfilling one. Can we conclude this by chanting together the same Bhairava hymn that you recited when you left your body?
What better way to conclude?
Vyakt Charachar